Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Now we're diving into something absolutely profound today. We're unpacking two ancient, time-tested psychological frameworks for dealing with human grief. We're going to look at the anatomy of loss through two very different lenses, the logical rigor of Stoicism and the spiritual surrender found in the Islamic tradition. Both of these offer some truly brilliant mental models for getting through the hardest moments in our lives, and we're going to explore exactly how they work. So let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this, because the idea that loss is the only universal certainty, well, that's literally the ground floor of our shared human experience. Think about it. Whether it's the loss of a job you thought was your forever career, maybe a dream you've held onto for decades, or, a person who fundamentally defined your whole world. Every single one of us is eventually going to stand before that empty space where something precious used to be. It's just inescapable, right? Now, when we're faced with that empty space, what do most of us do? We cling. We try desperately to hold on to things, almost like sand slipping through our fingers. And of course, gripping tighter and tighter really only causes us more pain. But ancient wisdom actually suggests a radically different approach. It poses this massive, totally paradigm-shifting question. How do we move from the sheer agony of saying, "I have lost," to the profound peace of saying, "I have returned"? Let's check out the first distinct solution to that.
Section 1. The Stoic Shield, Logic and Boundaries.
So, Stoic thinkers like the legendary Epictetus, who, by the way, was formerly enslaved, so he deeply, literally understood what it meant to own absolutely nothing, they believe our suffering doesn't actually come from the loss itself. Instead, it comes from this psychological error, the false belief of ownership. To fix this, Stoicism uses what we can call the loan metaphor. Imagine the universe is simply a lender. Your health, your wealth, your career, and yes, even your loved ones, they aren't permanent possessions, they're temporary loans. So when the universe, the lender, eventually calls that loan back, a Stoic trains themselves not to cry thief. I mean, you wouldn't get angry at a bank for taking back what was theirs, right? Instead, the Stoic just simply and logically states, "I have returned it." So the crucial point is, how do you actually get to that mindset? Well, you do it through a very specific practice called Premeditatio Malorum, or the premeditation of evils. Basically, a Stoic uses pure logic to build a defensive iron shield right around their mind. They do this by mentally rehearsing and preparing for a loss way before it ever actually occurs. So by visualizing the loss of their wealth or their health in advance, they aren't just being pessimistic. Actually, scratch that. It's more like they're fortifying their defenses. That way, when the inevitable finally happens, they aren't caught off guard at all.
And the ultimate goal of this Stoic shield is to reach a state called apatheia. Now, let's be really clear here. This is not about coldness or apathy, not the way we use that word today anyway. It's actually about preferred indifference. Obviously, you prefer to have your health, your family, your blessings, but you train yourself to make sure your inner core, your real inner peace, remains completely unshaken when those external things are taken away from you. Your peace becomes entirely independent of your circumstances.
Section 2. The Islamic Sanctuary, Surrender and Healing.
Now, while the Stoics rely heavily on the defensive strength of human reason and their own willpower, this second framework takes a totally different path. At the very foundation of this sanctuary is the concept of tawakkul. This translates to absolute trust and reliance on the divine. And notice the big shift here, folks. We are moving completely away from that Stoic emphasis on human self-sufficiency and the power of the individual mind. Instead, this framework asks you to place your ultimate reliance on a higher power, really trusting that a divine wisdom governs absolutely everything, including loss. In this tradition, loss is reframed through the lens of Amanah, which means the sacred trust. And this connects so seamlessly back to that Stoic loan metaphor we just looked at, right? Because it also reframes our relationship with worldly possessions. But here, the loan carries a deeply spiritual weight. Every single blessing in your life is viewed as a sacred temporary trust from the Creator. It's given to you with purpose, and it's taken back with purpose.
So when that sacred trust is called back, when a loss actually strikes, the heart in this tradition deliberately moves toward a state called Rida. This is a profound contentment with the divine decree. It's really not just a passive acceptance or, gritting your teeth and bearing it. It's an active, spiritual settling of the heart. It's trusting completely that whatever just happened is part of a perfect, divine will, even if it hurts immensely in the moment.
And this brilliantly illustrates the contrast. When facing loss, the Stoics' logical mantra is, "It was never mine." But the practitioner of Rida relies on a deeply spiritual healing mantra, "To God we belong and to Him we return." See the profound difference there? One is a logical detachment from ownership, while the other is this deep spiritual reconnection to a divine source. Which brings us to a really unique layer in the Islamic tradition: active gratitude. From this viewpoint, loss is actually often seen as an exchange. When a worldly blessing gets removed, it's believed to be a deliberate act to protect the soul from some hidden evil, or maybe to prepare it for a higher spiritual reward. So while a Stoic wants to be totally unaffected by the loss and stay completely unshaken, a practitioner of Rida actively seeks to be transformed by it. They trust the All-Wise has a purpose that goes way beyond human understanding.
Section 3. Shield versus Balm, a side-by-side comparison.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is seeing how these stack up. Which path resonates more with your own mind and heart? Mapping these two approaches side by side reveals something fascinating. Over on the left, we have Stoicism, the iron shield. It's highly defensive. It uses human reason to prevent the arrow of grief from ever piercing your heart in the first place, emphasizing strict boundaries and total self-sufficiency. But on the right, the Islamic tradition acts as a healing balm. It doesn't try to block the arrow. Instead, it acknowledges the wound, but treats it with the hope of a higher reunion. One protects through strict boundaries, while the other heals through deep, divine perspective.
Section 4. Living with an open hand. Ultimately, how do we actually take this shield and this balm out into the real world? Because despite their very diverging methods, both of these paths lead to the exact same shared outcome. The goal is the same for both: to live with an open hand. Whether you're drawn to the logical, defensive rigor of the Stoics or the spiritual, trusting surrender of the Islamic tradition, the absolute key to navigating life's constant transitions is learning to hold on to your blessings loosely. Like we said earlier, you just cannot cling to the sand.
Let's move to and see how this builds into practical, everyday takeaways for your own life. First up, you have to allow yourself to enjoy the loan while it's here. Don't push away joy just because you're afraid of losing it. Second, you really must be willing to let go of the trust when the universe or the creator calls it back. And finally, the overarching rule of both these incredible philosophies: do not lose yourself in the process. Your inner peace, whether it's protected by logic or anchored completely in faith, has to remain intact.
So I want to leave you all with a bit of a challenge today. The very next time you face a transition, a setback, or an inevitable loss in your life, I want you to pause and ask yourself this specific question: is this a moment for the shield, or is it a moment for the balm? Do you need to employ logic and reason to defend your peace, or do you need to lean into spiritual surrender to heal your perspective? The choice is entirely yours, and now, well, you have the tools to make it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep reflecting, and until next time, stay unshaken.